We were talking previously about A Course in Miracles, and we had gone through quite a bit of it. Now, what I'm going to discuss now is another way it was done, and I have this on my Amazon Kindle Fire 7 device. And all of this was done by uh, a man named, let's see if I can find his name here. Let's see. Well, that's all right. I'll find out in a minute. But anyway, the man who did it actually went back to the original manuscripts of this, not the ones that you see in print now, but the one with all of Helen Sukman's notes that she wrote in addition to the original manuscript that came channeled to her. She would also write notes on those herself with some of her ideas on it. And so this version is more complete in several ways. Not only that it has, well, what it does, for example, it will do a more accurate version of translating the notes that she took in her own form, because she did that with different scripts she used to write it, not in regular handwriting. And to figure those out were difficult because she did it in two different ways. So he's got it closer to that. Plus, he found that the order that some of the sections are written in, the one that's usually people have, which is printed, are not in the order that they should be. And so he has rearranged that. Plus, so some of the translation of the actual words in it are different. Some of the order is slightly different when it's necessary. Plus, her notes are there as well. And in addition to that, you will see either in the text itself or in a note, you'll see a little number in blue. And if you hit that on the screen, that will give you another deeper explanation of what either the words in the text mean or what the notes mean. And it also sometimes tell you where Helen Sukman got the idea for her own notes. For example, some of it may be a Christian song she once heard, or some of it will be another part of Christian scripture that seems to fit in exactly with what the Course in Miracles verses or chapters say. So, but what he does with this, he goes into the authorship. He goes into all of that, and then he does gives an introduction to the complete annotated edition on Helen Sukman's original handwriting notes, and some of it, as I say, are in a slightly different. And then he has 33 cameo essays. Now, what that means is these are little essays that give you a much better definition of the words that are used in there that sometimes are difficult to figure out. Of course, that's one thing about the Course in Miracles. When you're reading it with your mind, intellectually, it is hard to figure out. So that helps you figure that out. So that's why they have the cameos in there. And this is also, he talks about the Hugh Lynn Casey, who was the son of Edgar Casey, also took the one of those original versions of the book and had it down in his place down in Virginia and kept it there, and no one else could get to it. But this guy got to it as well. So now, also Ken Wapnick has done a great deal with that to get it published, and that he's quite responsible for that, because it appears that Helen Sukman herself didn't actually want this published while she was still living. But after she passed away, Ken Wapnick and others who were working with him decided that this was something that was needed because it was such an excellent psychological and spiritual tool to regenerate a person. We'll be back with more of this in a short time. Thank you for listening.